it's Maya from Kiss My Lash, and today I'm going to talk about how to deal with lash burnout. So we've all been there, you've worked a 70-hour week, you are burnt out. First and foremost, my best piece of advice for this is be grateful for where you're at. There was one point where we all started where we really struggled to get clients, and feeling burnt out from lashing, there's at least one positive you can find in it. I know that I used to really struggle getting clients when I first started 4 years ago, and maybe it's a little bit easier now with all the information out there to maybe get a few more clients than I had when I started out. But regardless, actually getting to the point where you can be burnt out is an accomplishment in itself. So if you're watching this video, I'm proud of you. Okay, so if you have a really full clientele, raise your prices. I know a lot of people will tell me maybe this isn't the best strategy, but I like to do $5 price increases. So I know that, maybe it's more efficient to do a $10 price increase like once a year so you don't really annoy your clients, but I like to do $5 increases whenever I feel like my books are really overflowing to the point where, clients are banging on my door to get in. I think that that's the best times. Just raise your prices just a little bit. I raise my prices about once every 6 months by about $5. That's just kind of what works for me in my business. I've been doing it this way pretty much ever since I started, and this is what works for me. But I understand that there's maybe people out there who like to raise it maybe by $10 every year or whatever. Just find what works for you and what you feel like isn't too much at once or is gonna feel like something you're gonna be scared to announce to your clients. And just know that your clients will stick with you if they really like you, and they will find a way to make it work in their budget if you raise your prices. My next piece of advice for dealing with burnout, it's easy to be like, oh, I need a really expensive vacation to pamper myself. Make sure that you're setting a little bit of money aside. I mean, set as much money aside as possible, but make sure that you're saving when you are really busy, so that way when you're burnt out, if you really need a few days off, you can take it without feeling financially stressed out or like you're really screwing yourself over bills wise. When you are really busy and feeling burnt out, consider getting someone underneath you, which is a whole can of worms in itself, but it is a really good idea, to kind of help with your overflow once you are really confident in your skill. Maybe you're teaching courses and you feel confident enough to train someone to do lashes the way you do or close. Even if someone is working part-time under you, even if they're maybe just taking 2-3 appointments a week, the fact that you can be profiting on that long-term is really worth it. Just make sure that you're doing thorough interviews, because if someone works for you for a couple months and then maybe quits, that is a lot of money on training, and maybe some clients haven't had a good experience. If you are at the point where you're really busy, you're raising your prices and you're still having lots of overflow, definitely consider getting someone underneath you. This is a whole new venture in itself, and make sure that you are prepared for this, but it's really not as hard as you might think to just get a little office space. Obviously make sure that it follows your province or state's regulations in terms of health and safety. Make sure that you do a couple interviews, make sure that whoever you are onboarding is really good, and really take your time training them. Even if they already are certified, you don't know if they've learned all the things that you've learned in your lash training, and there is a reason that all your clients are continuing to come back to you, and make sure that they are treating your clients the same way that you're treating them, because it is your name attached to their name now. So just make sure that you really believe in what you're providing to your clients. Just one more thing I'm gonna say with having people work for you or work under you, you have to be comfortable with firing people. It's an unfortunate reality of business. Anywhere you've worked, I'm sure you've heard of someone maybe getting let go. Make sure you're comfortable with this when you start your business's arm of having other people associated with servicing your clients. Work a lot when you really are feeling that burst of inspiration. I definitely do this with batch creating content whenever I'm feeling really creative, which is usually late at night. I'm definitely a night owl. When I have my best ideas, I'll just write them all down at night. When there is lots of that overflow, just maybe start a Google Docs and just write down kind of, if you were to start a new project in your business, whether it's starting offering training courses, maybe it's starting a product line, starting offering more retail to up your revenue. When you're feeling creative, definitely utilize that energy and put it into a project that can kind of maybe be a solution to how you might not feel burnt out in a year from now and still kind of earn the same revenue or more. Something that I definitely do is make sure that I stay inspired with new podcasts, YouTube videos. I listen to podcasts all the time when I'm lashing. I really like Lashcast podcast. Plus I've met Paul and Tusney and they are amazing people. I really like listening to Live Bay, Lashes by Kins. Super important to continue to listen to content that you find inspiring and educational, helpful, because it is really easy to feel burnt out and you might kind of forget like why you started or the magic in the lash industry. And my final piece of advice is build a lash community. You know, join those lash forums on Facebook. Try to maybe make some lash friends on Instagram. It's really good to be able to talk to other lash artists and kind of, you know, see what they're doing. The lash industry is a really interesting thing and it's important to kind of stay up to date on what's happening and can definitely be re-inspiring. That is all for today. Thank you so much for watching. You can always shop our website, kissmylashbeauty.ca, subscribe and like this video, and I'll see you guys next Wednesday.